should see the look on your face. It's priceless. I don't like cliches, but you look like you've seen a ghost.
You certainly have surprised me.
For possibly the first time in our marriage. You'll forgive me if I savor the moment.
Dimitri must have turned.
Did you really think I wouldn't anticipate what you were planning? I took the precaution of securing the loyalty of several of your key people. You were so volatile, Theo. You were so single-minded. I had to be prepared in case you decided to turn against me.
And what of my grandson?
Our grandson.
His adoptive parents called you in the car. My people traced the call to this house. Another ruse?
Not at all. In fact, our grandson and his family are on their way here any minute. I can't wait for you to meet him.
Hey.
You okay?
Yep.
Sure?
Mm-hmm.
I stopped by and spoke to Carly, and I just thought that, considering what just happened, maybe we could rise above all the pettiness and come to an understanding for the kids.
So you pitched a truce?
I did, yes, for the kids. And I just, thought that since Jason just lost Jake, that maybe we could put things in perspective and just realize that life is too short to argue all the time, and it's exhausting and it doesn't get us anywhere. So I, for one, am just not going to do it anymore.
Good.
Tell me about Jason.
Well, he's going through a lot. He had to spend 4 years on the sideline watching somebody else raise his kid, and because he thought it was, for the best of his kid, and now his son's gone, and he just feels like he's wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, but he needs to, or maybe you could try to get him to understand that, there's nothing he could have done. He tried to do everything for that boy, and sometimes accidents just happen, right?
That's the thing, he doesn't think it's an accident, because Luke had a few drinks.
The guy was arrested for aggravated assault and attempted rape. You don't think the victim would like to know if he's going to be cut loose? Well, how did he even get bail? Well, did anyone plead him out? Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
What happened?
Well, Brandon's decided to ditch his public defender, and he's got this woman named Angela Dwyer. She's good.
What, she's good enough to get him acquitted?
Yeah, she's going to push for a trial. She's going to back on the fact that Abby's going to let Brandon walk rather than put Michael on the stand and risk him getting sent back to Pentonville.
Okay, well, can you make a case without Abby's testimony?
Yeah, it's not going to be as good. I got to convince Abby to change her mind, because if she drops the charges against this guy, that puts Michael in the position of defending her, and he's going to do it no matter what the cost.
Brandon is not going to drop this. He wants me to pay for breaking things off with you. And I'm not going to let him use you is the way to do it. Especially not if it means you going back to Pentonville.
Look, you cannot let him get away with what he did to you.
You want me to press charges?
Look, if you recant your statement, it's like saying he never even tried to rape you at all.
Look, I want Brandon punished. But the thought of going through a whole trial, watching his lawyer spin what happened to paint you in the worst light possible, I can't do it. I won't.
There's not going to be a trial.
What does that mean?
I am not going to let Brandon ever hurt you again.
How did we get to this place, Theo? How did we lose all the love and trust we shared?
You destroyed that trust.
Well, I want to rebuild it. I miss us. I want to be us again.
You went to a great deal of trouble hiding my grandson from me. Why the change of heart?
I was grieving for Alexander, and I blamed you for his death. My heart was so full of rage that it's taken me all this time to realize you were as devastated as I was.
I'm not quite sure where that leaves us.
We can start again. We can raise our grandson together again. Alexander would want that, don't you think?
Perhaps he would.
And the best part is, Brenda has no idea her son still exists. We can raise our grandson, and Sonny and Brenda will be none the wiser.
The thing is, Jason has to fight someone so he doesn't drown
Yeah, of course.
in his own grief. And Luke is making himself an easy target. He's shouldering the blame. He admitted that he had a couple drinks.
Wow.
And I've known Luke for a long time, and I know that he's always in control of, where he's headed. I've done things with Luke where I know he's had a few drinks. You can't even tell. For Luke to drive drunk, he'd have to drink like a bottle of scotch and then get behind the wheel. There are too many variables. Hitting Jake was an accident. And I know it's very difficult to accept for, any parent that loses a son. But it's really hard when you're the one responsible. Right?
Yes.
Bedtime for a sleepy baby owl, said Mama. I'm not sleepy, grumbled Baby Owl. Does he look mad there?
Yeah.
Why? Why is he mad?
Because all the animals are waking him up.
That's right. He couldn't help but giving a big stretch. Then along came Gray Squirrel. Look, Gray Squirrel's back.
He's crying.
He's crying because he doesn't want to go to sleep, and everybody's telling him, look, you look sleepy to me.
Michael doesn't trust the system to give Abby justice, and I can't blame him. He's been screwed over by one too many times, but that just means he's going to find another way to get it for her, through Sonny, through Jason, or God forbid he does it himself.
So is that why you're pushing Abby so hard to testify? Because you think you can stop Michael from going after Brandon if he's in prison?
Well, if Brandon goes missing during the trial, Michael's at the top of the suspect list, and that suspicion alone is enough to send him back to Bentonville, the one place he's powerless.
Well, what does being powerless have to do with him going after Brandon?
He was taught his whole life that the mob gives you the power to solve all your life's problems. And lately he's been straddling the line between good and bad. I mean, I pulled him back, but if he decides to go after Brandon on his own, there's nothing I can do to help him.
I hate Brandon, but I don't want him dead. Michael, you have to promise me. Please promise me that you won't do anything. Is Brandon worth going back to Pentonville? Because that's exactly where you're going to end up if his body is found in the harbor. You have worked too hard to get your life back together. Please don't throw it away now.
Brandon's never gonna hurt you again.
It is not for you to decide how Brandon pays. I was the one who was attacked. It is my choice to make.
Abby, what if he walks?
I don't give a damn. As long as you're safe.
Maybe we needed this crisis to remind us what really matters.
I'm pleased we found a common cause in our grandson.
Nothing is more important than our own flesh and blood.
This boy is our legacy. We'll give him everything that should have been Alexander's. He'll have the benefit of everything I've worked so hard to achieve.
We make a formidable team. I've always admired you, Theo. You go after what you want, and you've never let anything stand in your way. And now I'm in a position to give you what you deserve.
We actually drove past Elizabeth's house on the way to the airport, right around the time that Jake wandered off. And at that time, I didn't care about anything but the honeymoon. I wasn't paying attention to the road. I could have hit Jason's son. No. I could have. Can you imagine? I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
No, well, thankfully you don't have to imagine that.
But that's what Luke's come to terms with. I mean, you know, he killed, no matter how you want to look at it, he killed a little boy who was raised by Lucky like his own. And I went to see Luke. I told him, I said, look, it was an accident. You can't blame yourself. And I meant it. But I'll tell you, if I was in his place, honestly, and I killed a little boy, I would want the grieving parents to come to my house and put a gun to me.